At what age do you realize your parents saw you as a burden? I was 7 when my parents started charging me rent, not pretend rent with Monopoly money, real rent for my birthday and Christmas money. They said I needed to learn about the real world early. Every month they'd sit me down with a little notebook and calculate what I owed. $20 for my bedroom, $15 for utilities, $30 for food. If I didn't have enough, they'd write it down as debt. My piggy bank wasn't for toys or candy. It was for paying to exist in my own home. When relatives gave me birthday money, Mom would hold out her hand immediately. I'd watch other kids buy kin cards while I handed over my $50 birthday check from Grandma. The food thing was the worst. They had a list on the fridge of what I was allowed to eat without paying extra. Generic cereal, white bread, hot dogs. If I wanted anything else, pear, an apple, orange juice, the good peanut butter part, I had to buy it myself. I remember being 8 and standing in the kitchen counting quarters to see if I could afford a banana. My friend Lily was over and saw me putting coins on the counter. When she asked what I was doing, I explained our food system. She looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Your parents make you pay for fruit? That's when I started realizing this wasn't normal at school lunches. I'd eat the free lunch program food while my parents packed elaborate lunches for themselves for work. Furry started noticing I never had money for field trips or book fairs. When they asked, I'd lie and say we were saving for something big. The truth was too embarrassing. When I turned 9, they added chores to my bill. Not doing chores, parent, that was expected. But if I did them wrong, I got fined. Reading fold the towels exactly right. $2 fine. Left a streak on the mirror. $3 fine. They had a whole chart of infractions and penalties. My dad worked from home and would inspect everything with a checklist. He'd point out invisible dust on baseboards, water spots on faucets I couldn't reach without a stool, grass clippings I'd missed in the corner of the yard. Sloppy work costs money in the real world, he'd say, adding another fine to my notebook. By the time I was 10, I owed them $340. They charged interest too, earned 5% monthly. I tried to earn money doing extra chores for neighbors, but my parents took that too. You live here, so your earnings help with household expenses. The breaking point came during 5th grade. We had a big project about family traditions, and everyone was sharing these warm stories about holiday dinners and vacations. When it was my turn, I talked about our monthly billing meetings. My teacher, Mrs. Walker, kept me after class. Emma, what you described, that's not a family tradition. That's, she paused, choosing her words carefully. That's concerning. I tried to explain that my parents were teaching me responsibility, repeating what they always said. Mrs. Walker's face just got more worried. 2 days later, a social worker showed up at our house. My parents were furious. They put on a big show about being innovative parents teaching financial literacy. The social worker asked to see my room. It was basically empty, just a mattress on the floor, one change of clothes, and my school books. I'd sold everything else trying to pay my debts. Where are her toys? The social worker asked. She sold them, my mom said proudly. She's learning about sacrifice and priorities. The social worker looked at my debt notebook, did some quick math, and her face went red. You are charging a 10-year-old interest on rent? She owes you nearly $400. My dad straightened up. We're preparing her for adult life. She's 10. This is financial abuse. Financial abuse. There was a name for it. The social worker made them return all the money they'd taken from me over the years, earned almost $2,000. They had to attend parenting classes and have monthly check-ins. My parents were mortified, not because they'd been wrong, but because they'd been caught. They followed the rules grudgingly, but made sure I knew how ungrateful I was. We gave you a roof over your head, my mom would say. That's literally the legal minimum, I'd learned to reply. When I turned 18, they presented me with a real lease agreement. Market rate for my childhood bedroom first and last month's rent required, credit check and references needed. I laughed, eggily laughed. I'm going to college, I said, on a full scholarship that I earned despite you, not because of you. My dad said I'd never make it without their training. My mom said I'd come crawling back when I realized how expensive the real world was. I am 25 now, I graduated debt-free, have a great job and my own apartment. I